They designed it this way. Why you're addicted to content? Have you ever caught yourself scrolling, not even knowing why? You're not looking for something specific. You're not even enjoying it anymore. You're just there, trapped. Another video, another swipe, another second. And the moment you stop, even for a breath, there's a strange emptiness. Like the silence is too loud. So you dive back in, not because it's good, but because it's familiar. This isn't an accident. It's by design. They made it this way. And the most disturbing part? You agreed to it without ever realizing it. Let's start with a brutal truth. Content isn't made to inform you anymore. It's made to keep you watching. You're not the customer, you're the product. Your attention is the currency. Every second you linger, every like, every comment, every pause, it's being measured, analyzed, and optimized against you. Algorithms don't care about your fulfillment. They care about your engagement. But here's the philosophical dilemma. If your thoughts are constantly shaped by things designed to manipulate you, are they really your thoughts? This is the modern philosophical crisis. Not that we consume content, but that content consumes us. And it's not just TikToks or YouTube shorts. It's everything. News, podcasts, even books are now written in ways that mimic addictive design. Hooks, clicks, endless loops. The line between entertainment and entrapment is vanishing. And the scariest part? We don't resist it, we crave it. Why? Because they've turned your brain against itself. You see, at the core of your psychology lies a simple mechanism, the dopamine loop. You get a small hit of dopamine every time something novel appears. A new video, a shocking twist, a laugh, a face, a sound. Your brain is wired to seek novelty because for most of human history, novelty meant survival. New information could mean a new food source, a new danger, or a new opportunity. But what happens when novelty is artificially injected into your life 24/7, when every swipe promises a new form of stimulation? You become addicted not to the content, but to the possibility of the next content being better.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
And they know this. Every major platform, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, they hire behavioral scientists, people who study how your brain works, people who understand how to keep you engaged without your permission. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's business. But behind the business is a deeper philosophical question. If your perception of reality is shaped by platforms designed to hijack your attention, can you still trust your own mind? This is where things get dangerous, because content isn't neutral. It doesn't just sit in front of you like a tree or a rock. It shapes you. The information you consume becomes the lens through which you see the world. But if that lens is being curated not for truth, but for engagement, then your reality is no longer yours. It's theirs. Let's pause here. Really ask yourself, do I know what I think, or do I just repeat what I've consumed? Now imagine this. You wake up. You check your phone, no surprise, right? But what's waiting for you? A meme, a headline, a trend, a video. You didn't choose to see it. It was chosen for you. And based on how long you look at it, the system learns, it evolves, it adapts. It builds a psychological profile of you more accurate than you could ever write yourself. And it feeds that profile, not with truth, but with content that will keep you there scrolling, watching, consuming. And here's the most philosophical question of all. If your reality is curated by a machine, and that machine is optimized for addiction, then what part of your identity is truly free? Let's go even deeper. Plato once wrote about the allegory of the cave people chained in a cave, watching shadows on a wall, believing those shadows were reality because they'd never seen the light. Sound familiar? We are the cave dwellers now, but the shadows aren't cast by firelight, they're cast by algorithms. And the cave? It fits in your pocket. It's sleek. It's addictive. It's beautiful. And it's slowly replacing real life. The tragedy isn't that we're addicted. The tragedy is that we're not even aware of it. We think we're choosing, but we're not. We're reacting. Reacting to stimulus engineered to feel like choice. Reacting to curated outrage, endless novelty, emotional highs and lows. We are not thinking, we are being thought for. Hijacking the mind, the neuroscience of addiction and the death of inner stillness. Let's go deeper, not just into the screen, but into your brain. Because understanding why you're addicted to content isn't just about blaming algorithms or critiquing technology. It's about something far more intimate, the way your mind has been slowly rewired to chase stimulation and avoid stillness at any cost. And it didn't happen in a day. It happened one swipe, one like, one auto-played video at a time. Not by force, but by precision, by design. You see, your brain doesn't just process content, it responds to it chemically and neurologically. Every time you encounter something slightly surprising, slightly emotional, slightly new, your brain releases a small hit of dopamine. Not because the content itself was meaningful, but because your brain rewards novelty. And that reward is subtle. It doesn't make you euphoric. It makes you want more. And that more becomes a loop, an infinite scroll of dopamine breadcrumbs that never quite satisfy, but never quite let you go. But here's the twist. Dopamine isn't the chemical of pleasure. It's the chemical of anticipation. It fuels desire, not fulfillment. So what does that mean? It means you're not addicted to content. You're addicted to the next piece of content, the next swipe, the next click, the next small chance that this will be the thing that satisfies the itch. But it never does, because the loop isn't designed to end. It's designed to continue. And that loop is now embedded in your brain's wiring. Now pause and ask yourself, when was the last time you did nothing, truly nothing, for more than 5 minutes without reaching for a screen? Not because you needed information, but because you couldn't stand the quiet. That feeling, that discomfort in stillness isn't natural. It's manufactured. It's the withdrawal symptoms of a mind that's been hijacked. This is where the philosophical weight of the problem lands. Because what does it mean to be human if your mind is no longer your own? If you can't sit with a thought without needing to distract yourself from it, who are you becoming? The philosopher Blaise Pascal once said, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. He said this in the 1600s. Imagine what he'd say now. Stillness isn't empty, it's sacred. It's where the self lives, where reflection happens, where real insight is born. But we've traded that stillness for stimulation. We've replaced reflection with reaction. And in doing so, we've lost something essential. The space between stimulus and response. That space, tiny but powerful, is where freedom lives. When it disappears, so does choice, so does agency. The scariest part of modern content addiction isn't that it wastes our time. It's that it colonizes our attention. It invades our inner world with such frequency that we no longer know what thoughts are truly ours. Our preferences, our ideas, even our values begin to reflect the content we consume. And if that content is crafted not for truth, but for engagement, then our inner compass starts spinning. We no longer seek meaning, we seek momentum. We want to keep moving, even if we don't know where we're going. And here's the paradox. The more we consume, the less we feel. Because overstimulation numbs us. It floods our senses with so much noise that we can no longer hear the subtle signals of our own soul. Joy becomes harder to access. Focus becomes foreign. Deep work feels impossible. Even love, yes, love starts to fracture, because connection requires presence. Let me ask you something radical. What have you lost to the algorithm? Your ability to read a book, to sit through a conversation without checking your phone, to feel wonder without needing to record it for others, to wake up and not reach for the screen as your first act of being. They didn't just hijack your mind. They're redefining what it means to be human. And unless we reclaim our attention, we risk becoming shadows of ourselves, highly stimulated, endlessly distracted, but existentially empty. The illusion of choice, how freedom is engineered away through infinite options. We like to believe we're free, that we're in control. That every time we open our phones or click on a video or scroll through a feed, we're making a choice. But are we? Or are we simply selecting from a menu that was pre-written for us, based on data, behavior, and the desires of systems that do not have our well-being in mind? This is the uncomfortable paradox of modern digital life. We are drowning in options, yet starving for autonomy. And it's not because we lack willpower. It's because the system was designed to simulate freedom while quietly removing it. Let's take a step back and look at the architecture of digital. Infinite scroll is a perfect example. It presents itself as endless choice, a buffet of content just waiting for your exploration. But the content isn't random. It's filtered, ranked, and fed to you in a sequence designed to keep you hooked. You think you're exploring. Really, you're being led. And not by a person, but by a machine that knows more about your habits than your closest friend. The result? An illusion of discovery, when in reality, you're walking a path that was laid out for you by design. Now ask yourself, when was the last? And here's the philosophical tragedy in all of this. Humans are not wired for infinite choice. Now think about how this affects your identity. If you're constantly consuming content that's been tailored to your past behavior, you're being pulled into a feedback loop. You're not expanding, you're repeating. The algorithm doesn't want you to grow. It wants you to stay predictable. And so your worldview narrows. Your curiosity fades. You stop seeking the unfamiliar because the familiar is always one click away. And in the process, you begin to confuse comfort with truth. But here's the deepest irony. We built these systems. They didn't fall from the sky. We created the platforms, the algorithms, the incentives. And now they shape us more than we shape them. We are the engineers of our own enslavement. And the chains don't look like iron, they look like infinite content, endless choice, and personalized recommendations. So what do we do? How do we reclaim freedom in a world designed to distract us from it? We start by recognizing the difference between freedom of choice and freedom from choice. The former is what the system gives you, an endless menu of distractions. The latter is what you must fight for, the space to choose intentionally, not impulsively. It means creating boundaries, cultivating awareness, and practicing restraint not out of discipline, but out of dignity. Ask yourself, what would I think about if I wasn't constantly being told what to think about? Who would I be if I wasn't constantly absorbing who others tell me to become? They designed it this way, but you still have the power to design yourself. Reclaiming the self, how to escape the matrix of content and recover your mind. If you've made it this far, you already know something is wrong. You felt it. That strange, restless feeling after an hour of scrolling. That emptiness you try to fill with just one more video. That quiet voice inside you that says, "This isn't who I really am." And that voice is right. Because the person you were meant to be isn't addicted, isn't numb, isn't wired to be passive and distracted. You were built for depth, for presence, for real thought. You were not designed to be a receptacle for infinite content. You were designed to create, to feel, to live. But to reclaim that version of yourself, you have to escape the matrix. And escaping the matrix doesn't mean deleting your apps and moving to the woods. It means waking up. It means remembering. Let's be honest. You can't completely disconnect from the world, nor should you. Technology isn't evil. Reflection is the first act of rebellion. When you pause long enough to question your behavior, to observe your patterns, to feel the discomfort you've been avoiding, you're already breaking the loop. That discomfort, it's not something to run from. It's your soul trying to get your attention. It's the original you beneath the noise, beneath the algorithms trying to breathe again. Start small. Wake up without your phone. Sit in silence for 10 minutes, even if it feels unbearable. Read something slowly. Write a sentence without the pressure of sharing it. Go for a walk with no podcast, no music, just your thoughts. These tiny acts are not meaningless. They are micro-revolutions. They are ways of saying, I refuse to be programmed. And as you do this, something strange begins to happen. Your mind, once scattered, starts to settle. Your attention, once fragmented, begins to focus. Your thoughts, once borrowed, start to sound like you. And it's in that stillness that something sacred returns your agency. Your voice, your intuition. You begin to remember how to think without being told what to think, how to feel without numbing it, how to be without performing. But it's not easy, because the system is persistent. It will keep calling you back, with likes, with notifications, with the promise of comfort, and you will slip. You will fall back into the loop. And as you reclaim more of your mind, you start to see things differently. You begin to notice how shallow content leaves you empty, while deep presence fills you. You begin to crave connection over consumption, meaning over momentum. You begin to realize that your time, your attention, your mind, these are sacred. and they're yours to protect. So here's the final, most important question. What kind of life do you want to live when no one is watching? Not your followers, not your friends, not the algorithm, just you. Because that's where freedom lives, not in the content you consume, but in the consciousness you cultivate. They designed it this way, but you don't have to accept the design. You can reprogram your patterns. You can reclaim your time. You can recover your mind. And when you do, you'll find something the algorithm can never give you, yourself. Thank you for watching. Now take a breath, close this video, and go be you.